Welcome to Only Human. Today's guest is Ethan Rosen. Ethan was the very second guest in this podcast, and now he's back for the 25th episode. Ethan just dropped his album called Judy's House. I put the links to listen to that and the link to Ethan and I's first episode in the description. Just as a disclaimer, there is a point in the episode where Ethan describes an injury that one of his family members sustained in full detail. So I would check the timestamps if you want to skirt past that part. Enjoy the podcast. Ethan, for the 25th episode of Only Human, it's an honor to have you back as you were the second guest.
Thank you.
So thank you for being here. I'm very curious to see and to figure out what your life has been like since then.
It's a good question. I have no clue, honestly. I literally have no idea. I thought that it'd be good though to wear, because I just got glasses, so it's like he's changed.
Yeah.
I just felt like I mean it's kind of like a John Mulaney bit, but so I'm not gonna take full credit for that because I have integrity.
The women love John Mulaney, I hear.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they do. So, they totally do. He's in rehab now.
For what?
He's going to rehab for coke, and his wife is leaving him.
Really?
Talk about what happened in my life between the last time we talked.
Really?
Let's talk about John Mulaney.
Okay.
John Mulaney's life between the last time we talked. You know what I'm saying?
That's a pretty big leap to go from normal life to rehab and to be married to.
Yeah, the last time we talked, John Mulaney did not have a coke problem. Well, no, he probably for sure had a coke
right.
problem.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say,
but
probably building up for a bit.
He wasn't in rehab yet. That's for sure. So,
wow. Well, I'm glad I'm not John Mulaney.
Yeah, same. I mean, everything's been good though. Everything's been pretty good.
You love to hear it.
Kind of well, a lot has changed actually. That was like, when did we talk? In July?
We talked in July.
Dude. Yeah, I lived a whole life since then. Honestly.
Feels the same way. But fill me in.
Yeah. I honestly, yeah. So I guess since then I started working at a studio, and I was a recording engineer for a studio that was mostly like rap music, but also this band Tropodelic, which is like a huge band in the Cleveland area. They're awesome if you have ever heard of them, but they produce and record through us. Well, Signal Flow Studio. And yeah, it was really cool to like see live rock music and like different music just be recorded live. Like it was always popping. Like always popping. There was always people in there. There was a lot of drugs. It was just a hedonistic, just little cave, for sure. Like I've never been in an experience that was like you could do whatever you want, and it might kill you for sure, but in like a good way, not like intense, like you have to do drugs if you want to work here. But like it was just a zone. It was just a weird little zone.
I mean, I was curious to see if that
options.
Like when I think of studio, like being in the studio,
yeah,
in like the 70s and 80s, that's what I figure that would be. And exactly. I'm curious if that like culture is like maintained itself.
Totally, yeah. Everyone's smoking cigarettes inside. Like that's a big thing. That ever since 2005 when they stopped doing that in the bars, I was like, I'm used to this now.
Yeah.
But then you go inside a small 8x8 room that's like the same size as a teenager's bedroom, and they're like chiefing Marlboros.
Wow.
And it's just, I don't know about you, but a lot of cigarette smoke kind of makes me kind of nauseous sometimes.
Dude, you know what's weird?
But
here's a weird story.
I kind of got used to it. I kind of adapted. I like adapted to it. Like it's like I grew gills, I think.
Yeah.
Like that would be my good comparison, is I grew like cigarette smoke gills.
Yeah.
What was your story though?
I mean, it's my story of my coming to gills, Marlboro gills, is that.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
please.
GameStop midnight launches were the same way. I used to hate cigarette smoke. But you got to adapt.
Really? That was the place? That was the place.
Every single
that
time
you learned you got your gills at GameStop.
got my gills
'cause-
at GameStop.
To get the, damn, that's gotta be. That sounds like a good track title. Got my
Yeah,
gills at
dude.
GameStop. That
But I mean,
alliteration.
you're like how old? You're 14, 15, 16. All you want to do is play Call of Duty, and you're trying to be in the moment. And what's in the moment? Monster Energy can in your right hand, and secondhand smoke. Doritos.
We're probably there for sure.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
So
For sure. Yeah, I get you.
yeah,
I get what you're saying.
everyone finds
yeah,
their gills, but yeah.
Yeah, everyone finds their gills, and I found mine at Signal Flow Studio in Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow.
But it was cool. Yeah, I got to produce some pretty cool music. One of the band members of Tropodelic, I actually got to record a song with him. That was pretty cool.
That's dope.
And yeah, it was just neat to like be making music and get paid for it. That was strange.
Yeah, there's a lot of
But
questions
also-
about that I have questions about, like that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let me back up a little bit because I want to
Yeah,
know
go for it.
what do you feel conflicted at all being at work and then making friends like that and making. I mean, because that I don't think you should feel conflicted, but I'm just curious about what your mindset is when you're at work and then you get to like make these connections with the people.
Yeah. It's interesting. It really did change the way that I like think of just musicians doing it professionally. I think for a very long time I kind of like idolized a lot of musicians and was like, oh, they're different and doing something better. And I don't know, just like worship like musicians sometimes.
Right.
And I remember it just sort of being like that, normal to me until I was probably like a sophomore in college, and then I started just being like, well, those are just people making things. So
Wait, can I ask you what happened in your sophomore year of college to make that switch?
I don't think anything specifically. I mean, I met a couple of my favorite musicians. Like within my top 5 favorite musicians are King Cruel and Mac DeMarco for sure.
Okay.
And I met both of them, and that was like the craziest experience. Like just meeting people like that. Just that like you listen to their music for so long, and then boom, you just meet them in person. It's like they become a human being that you see in the flesh.
Do you
That's
enjoy
strange.
their music more or less after you meet them?
Both? I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe
Okay.
it kind of like broke that like dream. Like when I feel like, of course, like when you're haven't met somebody that's like on TV, you're like, wow, you're on the TV. Now you're in my face, and I could see you, and we're shaking hands. But then it's just like, oh, yeah, they're humans. That's
Yeah, like
makes
they
sense.
have to fundamentally change once you meet them because they definitely
Yeah.
are. That's wild.
so it didn't make the music worse. It just made it more human. Like
Okay.
I just was like able to humanize a lot of projects that really were magical for me. Not
Okay.
to say they're not magical anymore, but it's sort of,
No, I
It's
hear
like-
that for sure.
you know what I'm saying? So yeah, like being able to like create music like that with some people really, I think it was humbling, which is cool. Just made me feel very on the same level as everybody else. Like, no, musicians aren't like gods; they're just humans, just
Right.
making songs and stuff. But also that comes with the price of just like not getting paid enough in general.
Not getting paid.
Yeah, like people do not get paid. Like the music industry, it's so hard to make money.
Oh yeah.
And like when I was working there, I obviously split my money with the studio so I could reinvest it into the studio, and like I just wanted to make sure that also like we just needed the lights to stay on. Like for the most part, like most of the time it was like, all right guys, we made this much money, we can make more next month, and like really like small business style, like super small business style. I mean, pumping out like a system, but there were weeks where I only had like 5 hours,
Damn.
and I was not making a lot of money, so I was like, okay, this is hard. I can't live this way. Like this is really hard. And I was living at my mom's house and like just smoking too much weed for sure. I don't know. Can we talk about drugs on here? Am I breaking some
dude,
sort
this
of rule?
is all you. I'll take the direction
Okay.
wherever you want.
Cool, sick. Okay, yeah, I was smoking way too much weed, like lots of weed, like every day, and it was just, I don't know, I was smoking more weed than I was making money for sure at one point. So like that, and that's rough. It's rough. It's gonna put you in a rough spot. So I don't know. I guess we could go into like what my moment was, like the changing moment
Please.
that I had.
Those are my favorite moments.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I know it's your show, so it's the one that's the thing you do. We talk about.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I'm
it's whatever feels most natural to you at the moment, because right now you're saying a lot of interesting things that we can go off on. So it's like whatever you.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Please.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. I didn't know where the jumping off point was. So I was like, okay.
No, this is a jumping point.
I
I can ask you the question for the what's it called?
The audience?
For the audience. There's like a meme. There's like a phrase. What is it?
Yeah, for the meme.
Is it for the meme?
You gotta continuity, bro. We gotta have continuity.
I'll
here.
do it.
I'm
for
wearing
the culture.
the same
There you go.
shirt.
That's what I was thinking. It's for the culture. That's right.
I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore in that last video.
That's hype. Wow.
Because I thought I'd have the continuity.
That means you have to wear it every single time you come on here now.
Exactly. I'm gonna keep this.
Dude,
I'm gonna keep this shirt just so the 7th time that I'm on the show, I'm still.
Okay.
They're like, he's still wearing this shirt. He's still wearing that goddamn striped green shirt.
It's a nice shirt.
When's he gonna get some new fucking clothes? But
okay, I'm gonna ask you the question then, Ethan.
okay, yeah, go for it. Yeah, sure.
What event led you to your biggest personal revelation?
So this one's kind of like, it's honestly pretty heavy if you're prepared, but yeah, it was pretty hard. Like it was around Christmas. My mom actually fell backwards down 6 steps. It was like the day before Christmas Eve, and she suffered a subdural hematoma and like had brain bleed.
Oh, wow.
I was like the only one that was home pretty much, and I just like she had a friend over, and he came up and was like, hey, like come downstairs quick. And I was FaceTiming my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, I gotta go real quick, and went downstairs, and my mom's like head swollen up, and like I had to like you just go into like medical mode at that point. Your adrenaline kicks in. You're like, okay, I gotta take care of this. So I just got some rags and started sort of just cleaning the blood out of her hair. And sorry if this is like trigger warning.
No,
this
is insane that you actually went through this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And yeah, I just had to clean the blood out of her hair, and we like put her over into a mattress, just like check it out and wait for the swelling to go down. Because at that point, her friend only said that she fell down 3 steps. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just a concussion. Like 3 steps isn't that bad. Like it's probably not that bad. And her head was really swollen, but it just didn't. I had no idea. And her friend was just like, she's gonna be fine. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like her head is bleeding. Like I don't know. And I called my sister, like just as a second and third opinion, like just my sister and my brother-in-law. And I was like, hey, like this happened. What do you think I should do? Like, should I call an ambulance? Like, should I call 911? Or like, what am I supposed to do in this situation? I just had never been in a situation like that. And yeah, so my sister was like, she's probably fine. I was like, all right, okay. Like, this is crazy. Like, I was like, I really feel like I should call my brother.
Yo.
Because my brother's always the like serious one. And so I was like, nah, I'll just call my sister and just see what she says. And she's like, fuck it. It's fine. You're probably fine. Like,
whoa.
Just let her sleep it off. They literally said like, let her sleep it off. and I was like, okay, like, I guess we're just gonna wait. And like, I just waited with her for a while and just like sat with her to make sure she was okay. Like just put ice on her head and stuff like that. And the swelling went down, and I was like, I think it might be fine. Like maybe she's fine. And at this point, obviously, we didn't know it was a subdural hematoma. And I remember Googling things it could be, because I was like, what could this be? Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? And there's a lot of, I just want you guys to know, like, there's a lot of bad things that can happen to your head. Like, a lot. Like, your head is so precious. It's such a precious point. And my dumbass was like, all right, what could happen? What's the worst thing that could happen? And then I look up and it's like hematoma. And I was like, oh God, fuck. She has a subdermal hematoma. And I don't know. She could die right now. Like had no idea what the odds were. And I still just was like, she'll sleep it off, I guess. That's what my sister told me and this other person. So I was like, maybe they're right, I guess.
Holy shit.
So I woke up in the morning. Like, this is like 4 hours later. Really not that, because this all happened at like midnight on December 23rd.
December what?
And 23rd, December 23rd.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and again, so like right on Christmas Eve. I think it was like Christmas Eve. Yeah, it was Christmas Eve when I was taking care of her, because I went to bed at like 3:30 in the morning, just because I was like, I'm just gonna stay with her as long as I can until it seems fine. And then in the morning we woke up, and I woke up, I should say. I was the only one there, and I went and checked on her, and there just was like vomit everywhere. Like he like filled the toilet with throw up. Like, it was so bad. There was just like a stream of blood on the ground. Like, it was a horror movie. Like, dead ass. Like,
holy
like,
shit.
I was like, what is going on right now? And apparently she just like on her own. And this is just typical of my mom. She does not want to like accept help ever. She hates accept, because she's just such a strong ass lady. Like, she's just a strong Ukrainian woman. Yeah, seriously though, like an ox for sure. When we were like icing her and stuff, she was like, don't call the hospital. She was like, I'm fine. She's like, I'm fine. Don't call the hospital. And in the morning, she's just like laying in bed, because apparently she brought herself up the stairs on her own in the middle of the night after suffering a subdural hematoma. I'm like, how did you do that? Like, how did you go all the way up the stairs? And it was probably just because she was like, I want to be in my bed.
Right.
You know? Like, she's just like, these aren't my pillows. We're on a mattress in the basement. Where am I? You know, like, fuck that. And so I see all the puke and stuff, and I was like, all right, it's time. Like, she has to go to the hospital. Like, she has to go to the hospital at this point. So I had my sister-in-law come over, and we were going to just like try and take her like just to the hospital. And my mom was like, no, I'm fine. Just go get me flu medicine. She
Get in the fucking car.
She said, go get me flu medicine. I have a fever.
Boy,
and
what?
I was like, bruh. I was like, no, you fell. Like, you literally fell, Mom. Like, you have no idea. Like, at this point, she had no idea. Like, at all that she had fallen. At all. She had no idea. She just was like, my head hurts. You know?
Holy shit.
So, and then my brother and sister come over, but by the time my sister gets there, I called 911 and just was like, hey, can we have an ambulance? My mom, fell. And they took her to the hospital. They didn't say which one they were going to. They literally just like, here we go, we're taking her. And we were like, okay, like, they just took our mom and to the hospital. And we ended up finding her like a while later. And they didn't talk to us for like 4 hours, like, at all. Like,
so you had no status update on your mom for 4 hours?
No idea where she was.
Oh, wow.
Had no clue. We were like, what's going to happen? But like, also she seemed fine. So we were like, she's just going to be fine. Like, it's not going to be that bad. And then that's when we get a call from the hospital. And my sister sat my brother and I down like over the FaceTime, where it's like, yeah, she suffered a subdural hematoma, got a skull fracture, had brain bleed, and potentially was about to go into emergency surgery.
Holy fuck.
and needed to be transferred to the downtown campus. And then they hung up the phone and they didn't talk to us for another 5 hours. So we had to wait thinking that our mom was dead for 5 hours, like 5-6 hours, which like isn't the end of the world, but in that situation, it feels like years.
Yeah.
And also just like, I of course was destroyed because I was like, I killed my mom.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because I just was like, I killed my mom. Like, I could have taken her faster. You know, I could have done something. Like, I should have taken her quicker, and just really like exploded because I was like, I literally just killed my mom.
Wow.
And my brother and my sister-in-law were like, no, like, you're totally fine. Of course not. And they like calmed me down. But I just, in that moment, it was so heavy. And of course, once we heard she was fine, we got word from the nurse at downtown UH, and she was like, skull fracture. She's like, what are you talking about? She's fine. She was like, yeah, she did get a subdural hematoma, but she's gonna be totally fine, and like the blood's gonna dry up, and like you guys are gonna be good. She's gonna be good to go.
Wow.
But she did actually get a skull fracture though. Still, it was orbital. So she fell backwards. Like she fell 6 steps backwards, so like half a staircase backwards, and her head slammed into the end of the stairs.
Fuck.
And I think might have slammed onto the concrete, but I'm not quite sure. And the way that the doctors said it, where they were like, yeah, if she hit her head like this way instead of this way, she'd be dead immediately. Like she would have just died. And so she got super lucky, like super, super lucky. And that was just, it's a blessing, of course. It's a huge blessing. And yeah, she was in the hospital for another day. And then she got out, and she was a mess. Like,
Dude.
Could not move on her own. Like, for so long, we had to, like, for a couple weeks, we had to really take care of her, like, hand in hand, like, doing everything. Like, props to my sister. My sister had to do some of that fucking dirty work, like, just being girl to girl. Like, she had to do all that shit. Like, goddamn, I could not do it. That would have been all, like, it's crazy. It's crazy we had to get to that point, you know? And there was a point where we were like, we're going to have to hire a night nurse, like, to take care of her, like, really have someone here with her, because this is just, it's not getting better. And, you know, spoon feeding drugs and stuff, like, it's so hard. But, you know, shit happens. Sometimes you gotta just, like, take care of your parents and do it. And it was hard, but, like, not hard, of course. It's not hard to take care. Like, I'm not some sort of bastard that's like, I didn't want to take care of my mom. Like, no, it's just, it's strenuous work. Like, anybody that's gone through something like that will know, like, it's just hard. Like, it's hard work.
Yeah.
Like having a child again, like, you literally, it's like they become your child, you know, which is good repayment. You know, my mom raised me, so it's only right that I take care of her this way as well. You know?
Of course.
She's gonna wipe my ass when I'm a baby. I guess I can do it when she's an adult. It's fine. You know, but yeah, so in that time period, I think that's when I really, with all that happening, like, you know, I was up until like 3 a.m. some nights, just like, because I had to take care of my mom all night, or she just was like screaming from the pain, you know, headaches and stuff, because she had migraines for weeks.
Oh yeah.
Weeks and weeks and weeks. And the NP, we like met up with someone after like 5 days. She was like, yeah, just don't look at screens. And we were like,
thanks.
all right. Like,
Thanks,
like
bro.
my mom like bruised her hip bone because she also fell like on her hip.
Oh shit.
And she was like, hey, like, why is this happening with my body? And the doctor was like, just stretch. And we were like, bro,
we need a little bit more
can you be a little more specific? Like, a little more specific. But
Wow.
hey, yeah,
Dude,
that's what happens, I guess.
there are so many things that I want to talk about. First of all,
Well,
sorry, keep going.
no. Sorry, I was just gonna finish.
Oh, sorry.
The
Yeah, finish,
last thing-
please.
Yeah, no. You're good. That's like really the thing though, that made me. After that period, I was like, all right, I gotta move out like immediately. I gotta get a job, and I was like, I just looked on Indeed for hours on end, like after 5 o'clock, like till 6 p.m. I would wake up at like 9 and I'd be on Indeed till 6 p.m. just trying to find jobs.
Wow.
Just trying to just applying to jobs, trying to find things I would actually like. And I found this one job that answered within like minutes, like 30 minutes later. It was like, yes. And it was an office job in Columbus. And so I moved back to Columbus because I just needed to be in my own world, I think. I think like I love my family and it's great being near my family, but and I feel like right now in my life, like I just want to go and visit, like just be on my journey, like just figure things out alone. And it's nothing against my family. I love my family. I just want to like have a fucking quest.
I hear you, dude.
Like, and a quest requires different locations. It's not like you're just in one city for the entire movie or entire game. That would be the most boring game.
Oh yeah, it would fucking suck. No one would play that.
That's like playing Snake. You're playing Snake for the rest of your life.
No one wants to play Snake on a high-end gaming PC, dude.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I get it.
They want to go play Skyrim or something.
You have a nice processor. Yeah. I get it. You have a nice processor. But can you play Snake? Can you play Snake on that shit? Because I'm only going to play if I can play fucking Snake.
Dude, I just like, first of all, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off again. Was that it?
I don't know if maybe I didn't. Did I finish? Well, yeah, I was going to just say, geez, I really keep lingering this out. I'm terrible at telling this story.
No, it's perfect.
But yeah, okay, good. Okay. What I was going to say was that I got a new job and it was just awful. And I wore a suit to work every day. And it was terrible. And I had to like pack my own lunches. There was a coffee machine that I walked up to and would be like, this is the coffee machine. Gonna make some coffee. I would go on walks around the building. And I ate so much Popeyes. Like,
wait, are you still working
so
that
much
job or
Popeyes.
no?
No. Yeah, that's
Okay.
part 3. This job sucked, and I literally wrote a song about how much it sucked, and I sampled sounds from The Office. So I just like I like recorded like the stapler, and like the phone, and just other like little like clicks from like clicking and using my computer.
That's cool.
I think I used the coffee maker at some point as well. And yeah, so I made a beat from that and then recorded a song over it. And I've been working on that because I'm about to release a project on Friday, but the 28th, I'm releasing on it's gonna be out after.
It's gonna be like
It's a
following
shameless
Wednesday,
plug.
So
Shameless plug.
sorry.
Even though I I got an album came out. I'm so bad at doing that stuff, man.
Dude, I hate it too.
It's so hard. I got an album coming out. That's it.
Buy my
That's
shit.
all I got. Yeah. Not even just listen to it.
Yeah.
Tell me if it's bad.
Yeah.
So I can make a better one, But also, I don't care. It was fun to make. But yeah, okay. So this office job, hate my life. And I want to say a month in, I had like a panic attack at work because I was like, this is awful. And just was like, just in my car, just freaking out. Like, I gotta get a new job. Like, this sucks. And so I just started like looking at other jobs, and my job was getting worse and worse. Like, the more that I looked for jobs, the more it was just getting, it was like Indiana Jones running out with the boulder behind you. Like, I was like, all right, bro. Like, okay, this sucks. But yeah, I eventually found this place called Benny. And that's where I work today. It's a health insurance startup that provides a really cool app for like benefits, and like understanding your benefits, because benefits are a really confusing landscape.
You're not
And
wrong.
it's actually, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Understanding insurance is hard.
Yeah.
So it's cool to work for a company that's just trying to make it really easy to understand. And I think honestly that it's going to be like a household name, because it's just when you see what they have, it's just like, oh yeah, I need that. You know, like,
Yeah.
and not even because they're selling it, because that's the thing. It's just we're a broker and we work with other HR leaders, and if it works for their company, they get our app, you know, with our services.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I got a new job and I love it. As you can see, I like talking about boring shit like insurance,
Nice.
and it's a total switch up. But I get to wear things like this to work, and I work from home. Everyone there is so nice. I love them so dearly. They're all so nice. I've only worked there for not even a month.
That's
No,
sick.
I think a month this week, and it's great. It's like so cool, loving your job, like actually enjoying it. So that's okay. So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
Just that is like boom.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
One thing I want to ask before I ask you the bigger questions is, so since you're in Columbus now, I'm guessing that you're not in the studio anymore?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I still have keys to there. Everyone there, like, I left with all love. They were so supportive. They were all just like, yes, go do that shit.
They knew what
Like,
you
I
had
just
going
was
on.
like, yeah, I just was like, guys, yeah, they knew about everything that had happened. And I was just like, guys, I'm miserable. I need to go live somewhere else if that's cool. Like, not if that's cool. Like, I'm going to go live somewhere else. I want you to know.
Yeah.
But, and they were all just like, damn. Like, because it really was out of nowhere. Like, it really just, like you said, like, it's a revelation, just a revelationary. That's just not. I was an English major. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I had an epiphany,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what I just was like, all right, I got to make a change, because there's always moments in your life where you might need to just make a change, and your body's going to be like, no, don't do that. But it's worth it every single time. And it's just one of those things where you're like, you just have to do it. Like, your body's going to tell you what you need. And that's something I've learned throughout my life, especially the last year, is that your body will tell you what you need and what you should be doing. And of course, like, gauge what that means, and don't just, if your body's like, I need to join the circus right now, like tomorrow. It's like, all right, think about it for a second. Like, still have self-analytical thoughts, but there's always going to be moments when you need to jump, and you need to learn how to jump and not be afraid to jump, because once you do, it's so much, it's like puking. Like, some things you just have to get the puke out. It's fine. It's called growth. Like, you're growing. I don't know.
So you're saying that your head was telling you that it was a bad idea, that you were being hasty, and your body was saying go and do it. Am I understanding correctly?
Yeah, I mean, I would say naturally, like, you're gonna reject it because you just don't want to change.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Like, your body might be like, hey, like, you shouldn't be here. You should be somewhere else. But you're like, nah, I'm cool. But you're really not cool. Like,
yeah. No.
You'd rather just sit in the fact that you're not gonna change and not have to do something than doing something, because not doing something is always easier than doing something. Like,
You're not
always.
Yeah.
Always. Literally always. And it might sound stupid, but, like, it's true. Like,
Yeah. Dude, so okay, I just want to back up and so first of all, I think it's
backing up.
very admirable that you made it through, because that's something that's a lot. Because I think of that, like,
thanks, bro.
when you describe, you know, like when your sister was taking care of your mom and like you were taking care of your mom, that's a sort of like very eerie full circle life sort of shit that, like,
shakes, like gives
Yeah.
me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. No, totally. Completely.
Like, yeah. So first of all, that's huge, and I feel like that is like one of the ultimate responsibilities and moments. Like you did call this your, one of your biggest personal revelations, and
For
to
sure.
put yourself in that position and like succeed doing it, like you didn't, like, you know what I mean? Like that's just, yeah. So like I'm just curious from like my own standpoint. Of course, now that you say this story from like a selfish standpoint, I'm like, I don't even want to imagine
no,
what that's like for if that happened to me. That would be
Oh,
heartbreaking.
yeah, you're cool. Yeah, I don't wish it on anybody. It sucked. Like, and anybody that has gone through moments like that, I respect you because I understand. Like, it sucks, and it's wild.
So for those 5 hours, that you thought that like that was your doing, like
Yeah.
how, like, is there any like way that you can like walk me through that, like, and how you view it now, like stepping back in retrospect?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it just felt terrible, and I feel like once my brother and my sister-in-law kind of calmed me down, I just was like, okay, it's not my fault. But for so much of it, I definitely felt like this burden of just, not a burden, but just this weight of I messed up, like just, yeah, it was terrible. Like, it just sucked. Like, it was awful. But then, of course, once she was fine, it was like, okay, everything's fine. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And also, I knew it wasn't my fault. I had other people in the room that were giving me other opinions,
Right.
and I was like, I've never done this before.
Yeah.
They might have, sort of, like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. That.
I know it wasn't my fault, but it still sucks that it happened. Like, it sucks. I respect anybody that's had to go through something like that. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Because you obviously you couldn't control being there, and then you, like, not to say that you were forced to act, but you were there and you had to make some sort of decision as to how you would act.
For sure.
Yeah.
But again, some of it was just like, go. The
Mhm.
adrenaline was just like, all right, got to do this.
Yeah.
That's
That's also the scary thing, because I've only had like real adrenaline kick into me one time, and I think we talked about it in our last episode, but it's very weird when you do kick into that mode, because it's like going into a mode, like you, like normal life just is like, you just, like, I don't even know, it's like switching programs for like a mode on like a lawnmower or something. Like you just switch it, and all of a sudden you're operating on a completely different like pretenses and assumptions, and like your emotions aren't
Yeah.
really there, and it's just like objective mode. And yeah, so,
no, completely.
and it's also like, I don't think there's like a form of PTSD that comes with it, but there's also a form of like, when you make that switch the first time, I think you view like the normal mode differently. Like you realize the utility, or like not the utility, but like the nature of the normal mode, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. The luxury of shit not happening.
Yes.
The luxury of shit not going crazy just randomly. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
most of the time it's not as bad, but it is definitely going to make you more skeptical of like, okay, so what's going to happen? Like,
Right.
what's about to happen while I go into the grocery store to get cheese fries from the store.
Legit.
I know I'm just getting these spicy cheese fries, but
But
I could die.
dude,
Or, like that shit is just, it sits with you for like weeks for sure. And it is kind of PTSD though. Like there were definitely where like I would just kind of dream about it, be like, well, just thinking about this shit for a lot, just because it just happened. It was crazy, and it was like fast,
right.
just fast, crazy, and right in the face.
Wild. Is there a reason why you didn't want to call the ambulance? Like before you asked anybody, is there a reason? Like, were you hesitant? It sounded like you were hesitant. I could
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I mean, I think just I wanted to call the ambulance because I was like this. Also, my girlfriend was like, "Yeah, you should probably call the ambulance." Like, like she texted me and was like, "Yeah," like, because I was like, "What do I do in this situation?" And she was like, "Oh shit, like everything's gonna be good, like you're okay." But she was just saying, "Yeah, probably call the ambulance." And all the other people around me were like, "Nah, it's gonna be fine. Like it looks fine." And I was like, "What do I do?"
Wow.
Like, what do I do in that moment where I was like, okay, like, I just didn't know what to do. not that I did nothing. I took the route of just taking care of my mom right there and just kind of seeing how she is. But obviously, things went how they did, but it's all part of it.
Sorry.
No, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Do you feel in this, not to step away from it, to look at it like in this lens, I feel like maybe it's not that bad, but like, do you feel more confident in your ability to handle adversity on a moment's notice now? Or is that not even?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Like,
because how many events can compare to something like that? Like,
yeah, like it just makes everything else like not so serious. You know, it's easier to just be confident in situations because not every situation requires just cleaning blood off someone's head. Like, you know, like most of the time it's just like putting the silverware away. You know? Like I can't
like punch in the air because your mom asked you to like change the dishwasher or something.
or just even like doing your job, or I don't know. It just makes even trying things easier as well. Just kind of going out and doing something you probably wouldn't have before, just because you realize like you only have so much time to try out all the things you say you want to try out. And that's another thing is like people just gotta stop saying what they're gonna be doing. Like,
what do you mean?
They need to stop telling people about it. Like, you need to stop telling people about the good things you're gonna do or the cool things you're gonna do, because then you're never gonna do them. Like,
I'm gonna go on a rant, but I want you to say what you have to say first.
Yeah. No, that's it. Like, that's it. Like, if you say like, and I'm a culprit of, everyone's a culprit of doing it.
Oh yeah,
everyone does it. I do it probably once a week. There's probably one thing that I come up with. Like, I probably do it 3 times a week. I don't know. Like, it's at this point, it's just natural. Like, your body's just gonna be like, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna do that, and then the next day, I'm just gonna eat Cheetos, or just not actually do the cool thing that I came up with in my head. Yes. It's just all dopamine. Like, you just get that free dopamine from someone else. Like, just a dopamine vending machine.
Did we talk about this in our last episode?
I think we did. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we
did. I want to touch on it again though, because I don't think anyone has even brought it up since then. But like you just said, dopamine vending machine is that. Yeah, when you tell someone that you're about to do some shit and they're like, "Damn, dude, that's a great idea. You're sick for that." You're like, "Hell yeah!"
Yeah.
And it feels like you did it.
I am sick, and then you never do anything. Just like screen turns to black and white. He didn't do shit. Like, you know, he said he was gonna do that shit, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And sometimes saying it in public makes it like, it makes you more accountable, but sometimes then you're just a piece of shit that doesn't end up doing the cool thing you told like 50 people about.
Yeah, because to me, honestly, it comes to a point where accountability doesn't even matter how many people you're accountable to. Like, I feel like anybody is susceptible to get to that point where accountability doesn't mean shit anymore to other people.
True. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's easy. Again, not doing something is always easier than doing something.
Yeah.
So like, being accountable for something requires doing something.
Yeah.
And I know it's basic, but
and also the pressure's off when you don't tell people. You know what I mean? Like, that's
true. Like, if you told everyone you were gonna max, you never would have maxed. Just saying. Like, it's just the truth,
dude.
Can we talk about that for a second? Like, do you mind, dude? We gotta talk about it. Like, how do you feel?
Talk about me maxing.
You did it a while ago, right?
I did it. Wait, I've explained it. Video game called Runescape. If you watched the episode last week with Brady. And Brady and I, dude, I know this episode hasn't aired yet, so I have to tell you right here. And this is a good buy my album sort of spiel. But in the episode with Brady,
buy my album,
is that we talked about how like hyper efficiency in RuneScape like gave us so much anxiety, and we try to do hyper efficiency things in real life, and that just doesn't exist. And
absolutely.
Yeah, so first of all, RuneScape is an MMORPG, which is a role-playing game online with a bunch of other people, and you have like a bunch of different skills you can level up. You quest, so like you're like Ethan going to Columbus, and you know you meet new people and you like learn new skills, get armor and stuff, and then you can level up your skills to a certain level cap, and that's called maxing. And leveling up one skill to 99, which is the max, is like one of the things that when you first play the game as a kid, you're like, oh shit, the kid is level 99 and fucking cooking, and then you just like follow that dude around.
Emotes.
Yeah,
Emotes
you
on
get sick
you,
emotes if you level up your one skill.
And
But
then
sorry,
that's
what
when
you said.
they really that's when you really flex it. You're out there flexing.
Dude, that's a rush. When you see someone with a skill cape emote, you're like, dude, do the emote. They're like,
yeah, please.
do I have to? Like,
Do
I guess
it.
I'll do it.
Red text, do it.
Red text wave.
yeah, red text wave. Yeah, do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but dude,
So-
honestly, if I did tell someone I was gonna max, it would have been like, oh, there's this pressure. Then I would have been like, oh, well, maxing's not even worth it in the first place. Like, I don't want to do this shit. It's
Yeah.
just boring. But I didn't tell shit, dude. I didn't tell anyone I got 200 mil farming. I got 200 mil farming. So
I think you did that.
yeah, dude.
That is insane.
In the pandemic, I was like, every morning there's fuck all to do. I might as well plant some trees. So I planted.
Yeah, I
like,
guess that
hella
makes
trees.
sense.
Yeah.
So was that pretty easy to just kind of like
It was zen.
AFK, just it was sort of like a meditation in the morning.
Because I woke up every morning. It was like the pandemic. Like nothing is. I mean, you know how the world is during the pandemic, but it's like I woke up and it's like I know that I can at least my trees are ready to get checked on, so I'll just do that.
Yeah, some form of consistency, just in general.
Yeah. So it was like, I mean, and a lot of people were playing like, you know, Animal Crossing and shit, but
Yeah.
yeah. So that was cool. But dude, yeah, Max NRS, it was sick. That was after I got banned. So that's my second account, got Max. Pretty big.
I remember when you got banned. I was so sad.
Dude, you know what's so funny is that like people who I didn't even
was
know
so
were
sad.
coming up to me in school and expressing their condolences. Like, hey man, I heard you got banned.
Dude,
Runescape. And I'm like,
That's hilarious. That's so funny. It's like a funeral. It's like a wake.
yeah.
You know,
I was like,
wake the
how'd you?
next
He's like,
day.
I heard the news, and I'm like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
he's like, man, I'm so sorry to hear.
It was funny, but dude, people
I'm
validated it. 'Cause,
thinking
like,
about you.
dude, everyone had the RuneScape account, so they know what it's like to
Yeah.
get banned. So they're like,
Yeah,
it's like,
and
that's
you
real.
had. It's not like you. It's also like other people had RuneScape accounts. Yeah, but like you had a Magnum RuneScape account. Like yours was dope.
It's bad.
Yours was thangin'. You had that
Mine was.
thangin'.
You're not wrong. But yeah,
And it was literally some punk ass reason too. That dude
Yeah.
that you were on the subreddit with, that's bullshit.
dude, I
It's absolute
I didn't
bullshit.
think I would talk about this today. I
I
hate
did.
Reddit, dude.
Oh,
That's
I
all I have
did.
to
I
say.
wanted to.
This
make
was your
sure
whole
that
idea. Yeah.
I wanted to make sure this RuneScape conversation at least happened once.
All right. Well, if you ever post screenshots on Reddit, don't take full window screenshots. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Never do
Uh,
that. Yeah.
Never do that, and don't bot
Never do
either.
that.
No one would ever bot.
And don't
definitely
bot
not me.
it. Do
Definitely
not
not.
bot. I totally
Um,
botted.
Dude, I feel like anyone who's anyone botted at least once, or at the very use an
Really?
auto clicker.
Not even that bad though. Like I literally just did on a side account for woodcutting, just to like see what would happen.
It's a rush
Not on my,
when you
like,
see a bot
actual-
going.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, now I'm level 73, and it's been 4 days.
Yo,
You know, that's crazy.
it's hype.
But also, totally, there's no character in that.
There's not, and there's no glory
No
when you have a
character,
max
yeah.
account.
No
'cause you're
glory.
just like,
You're like,
We
ooh,
know how you
digital
got there.
numbers,
yeah, that's all they
Digital
are when you do when you bot.
pixels.
Yeah,
Yeah, pixels.
but it's real life when you do it
Yeah,
by hand.
yeah.
Yeah,
Then you go into your player-owned house and just
yep. With a demon
Party
butler, dap him
alone.
up. Yep.
yeah, you dap up the demon butler alone, and you're like, yeah. It's like those memes that you're like, you and all the people behind you, and in the beginning, like there's all these people behind you, and then at the end, it's literally like, yeah, guys, we did that shit. It's just you. It's literally just you alone. You're like, yeah, I totally did that. It's just depressing. Like apps, but you also like your OCD won't let you not do it. Like
Yes.
because you formed this goal when you were 9 years old, so you like have to do it. That's why that's the sole reason I got 99 wood cutting.
Yeah, it's like a childhood
wood
dream.
cutting. Wood cutting.
Wood cutting.
Literally, for the people watching out there, all you do is cut trees.
Swing that axe.
That's it. You swing an axe for hours. And I'm not talking like, oh, it's like 3 hours. It's like 9 hours a day. You're putting in a job a day, and you're not getting paid. You're actually you're paying them.
Yep.
You're paying them to do child labor for 9 hours a day. And their blue light glasses were not invented then.
That's true.
At all. So
all our rods and cones are fucked.
Fucked. Absolutely.
Fried.
Fucked. Absolutely. Yeah. Not gonna work in the future.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna fall out and need to be replaced at some point.
Oh yeah.
But what were we talking about other than that?
Dude, we were talking about telling people about achieving goals. And
oh yeah. Definitely. That's where I learned how to achieve goals. Was RuneScape, for sure.
Yes. And that game was probably to at least expose the fact that you don't know how to achieve goals. If you that's me.
Also true.
Yeah. But
also true.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I got 99 wood cutting. I don't need to get my doctorate.
Yeah, hell no.
You 7 years. It takes you 7 years out of college. Try 11.
Yeah.
Try 11 years maxing.
But okay, the one thing that I do want to say though is that wait, were you gonna wrap us around to you smoking or no? Was I mishearing you?
No, I don't know. I don't know what this conversation was. I stopped smoking though. That was another thing I did.
Because of that event?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I just was like, all right, I'm not gonna do this anymore.
Can I ask you, like, what you were like? So it was you thought about it, wasn't spontaneous.
Oh hell no! I've been trying to quit for like years. Like weed is just something that holds me back.
Okay.
Marijuana, cannabis, illegal substance is what that against the law. Jazz cabbage.
Word.
It'll do it to you. It does it to me for sure, and I don't know how, but I feel like now I sound higher than when I was actually smoking, and that doesn't make any
low
sense.
Key. Low key.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you feel more relaxed at a baseline?
Yeah, for sure. Less anxious for sure. I feel like weed was just making me paranoid. I think it helps a lot of people for sure. It's got its place for a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
But for me, I know it's my vice, and I don't want to have vices anymore. Like, that's really the biggest goal of this year is I just focusing on really taking care of my vices and just removing them. Like, actually, like, it's time to wake up at 7 a.m. and, like, you got to do what you need to do. Like, you need to actually start doing what you need to do and take care of yourself. Like, really just taking care of, like, really just want to take care of myself. I mean, I'm not going to strain my body and not eat Popeye's chicken sandwiches because
yes,
if I was a walking advertisement, I would be, because I love those chicken sandwiches. They're the best.
Haven't had them
best
yet.
Chicken sandwich dude, actually the best thing.
Okay.
Popeyes sponsor me, please. Please, Popeyes. I will sell your chicken if you'll just give it to me.
Do you think you're going to be vice free completely?
Shameless plug. Vice free? No, because that's like saying you're anxious free. You're never going to be anxious free. You're never going to be like depression free. You're never going to be anything free, because life is a spectrum and you never know what's going to happen to you. You never know like how you're going to have to change your life for a second, in a second, or that, that not even if you're going to do it, but if it just is going to happen. So I feel like being vice free, I mean, I think I'm going to be more vice conscious. That's what I'll say. I think I'm more conscious of all of it. And it's easier to be like, nah, I don't want to do that. Like now, after being 4 months clean off of smoking weed,
Nice. Good for you.
like kind of just look. Thanks, brother. Yeah, it's just something like it's something just a long time coming, but yeah, I just think once I got to that point where it's been, I don't know, so long, I kind of just look at weed and I'm like, I don't really need that, you know. I'm like, it's nothing, just all right, it's whatever. But yeah, so I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm with you, and I feel like when I was getting off of Wellbutrin, and you know, to this day, like I still like, okay, let me know if you feel for this, because like recently I've been on this whole wave where I think like the meaning of life is self-acceptance. So did you feel like you had to accept the part of you that like smoked in order to really change, or like was there any sort, like was it not that deep? Because for me, like that was like sort of one of the things that helped me in the later ends, is to like admit that like this is like a real part of me that's not necessarily like wrong. It's just you know what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like I had a lot of moments like throughout my career of smoking, and that where, you know, people that were, you know, able to get to a point where they're like, yo, like you're smoking too much. Like I want the people around me to be able to say that. Like there was a point where my girlfriend just was like, yo, like I love you and you're smoking too much. You know?
Yeah.
Like you just I'm saying this because I love you, you know, like that's it. And it's easier that way, you know, it's easier to be like, oh shit, okay. Like,
right.
Okay, I need to make a change. And that like happened at points where that all happened before I was even in Cleveland, like at the studio. So it just happened throughout, again, my career of smoking. It's just something that, you know, would happen sometimes. And shit, bro, my train of thought today is so loose and all over the place.
You're good. You want me to remind you what I said?
Yes.
I asked if some form of self-acceptance played a role in this time around.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I feel like, I don't know. Once you get to a point where you're in a place where you want to be, or at least it feels good, and if you feel like you've made progress, it's easy to be like, oh, why was I like that before that? Why was I like this before how I am now? And you have to get to a point where you're like, you just forgive yourself, you know? You have to get to a point where you just are able to hug yourself and say, it's fine. Like, it's fine that you weren't this way, because it's going to happen again. And there's something that you're doing right now, even if it feels good, that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
You know, that later on you're going to look back and be like, why was I blah, 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 blah. And then the cycle just repeats itself, and there's no actual, you can't feel, not proud, but you should be able to feel good about making progress in your life.
Yes.
And sort of just working towards that positivity. That's it.
Yeah.
Not really focusing on, oh, what could I have been, you know? What should I have done, you know?
Yeah.
All of those, like, just not helping anybody.
Yeah. Like, one of the things that I was starting to realize is, I mean, maybe you can rope us into like how you used to smoke, but like, you know, we both everyone gets in devices, not just us. I mean, everyone gets in devices because they serve a function that like helps us. It's not because like you're like anyone is inherently a degenerate because they have a vice. It's like, for me, eating food solved so many of my problems, but at a point it became maladaptive. And so like when you think about it, it's like, just because you had that vice doesn't necessarily make you incomplete, but like now it's at a point where like it just doesn't serve you in that productive way anymore.
And I think another even good way of looking at it is it was just a challenge that you overcame, you know?
Yeah.
It was something that you did for a while that you figured out, oh, this actually isn't good for me. And then you have to dig it all back out. Like, it's like if you have to dig out a tree, you know, that you grew this tree of doing something bad for so long, and you have to now cut it down, and that shit's heavy. Like, it's not easy. It's not easy to just pull a tree down.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
In
I don't
RuneScape
know
it
about
is.
trees. Yeah, I was gonna say in RuneScape, or I guess cutting a tree would be pretty easy just to cut it down. But you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. There's like an interesting. I mean, you said the same thing about your main quest. How you moved locations. Like that's the one aspect of the main quest. But two, like there's also reclamation in main quests. I love the games where you start off with like. I don't love them necessarily, but I love this aspect of certain games where you start off with really good gear, and then that really good gear gets lost like right after the prologue. And so now you're up in the world with like shitty ass gear, like a wooden sword and a wooden shield. You're like, and then at the end of it, you reclaim all that cool stuff that you had at the beginning, and then you realize the value of everything. And maybe that's like a corny outlook in terms of this, but to me, it's just like you said with like you realizing like the value of you getting after things that you want to do after what happened with your mom. Sort of the same thing there. It's like a recognition of value after that, because now you have value for your health, and that's why you want to stop doing that. Like, yeah,
Right. No, I couldn't agree more.
is there anything that's anchoring you in Columbus for the time being, or do you feel like you can go from anywhere else from here?
I mean, I want to go other places for sure. And I've been thinking about a lot of places. I think Austin's really cool.
Austin is cool.
I think I think LA might be cool. Maybe New York. Just like the big boys. Just try something different. My job is actually headquartered in New York, but we're remote. So if I wanted to, I could work in New York and just go straight from there.
That could be wild.
Which would be crazy. Yeah. It's in Manhattan too.
Whoa.
So like I'd be working in Manhattan, which is so different. Like just totally
Do you think you're inherently a city boy?
different. I have no idea, because I know eventually I just want to have my own like 5 acres of land that I grow food off of, and just a nice kitchen. Like those are my goals, is nice 5-acre plot of land that I can grow a nice garden and make music. And that's it. Like just live on that plot of land. Yeah, that's it.
I hear you. Can you tell me a little bit about the topic of, or like the, not genre, I don't know, what's the word, the theme of your album?
Oh, my album?
Yes. EP, album,
yeah,
whatever.
Sure. I mean, I guess the theme is really just that's the last time I talked to you. I probably had just finished maybe like the first song when I had talked to you.
Okay.
I had maybe like two songs, maybe, at that point. And then I made the remaining 8 up until this point.
Okay.
And I finished the album just recently. So really that album, like, I guess just reflects on what I was going through in that time period that I just told you about. Yeah.
Okay.
The whole,
All right.
because like I was just depressed, and the thing that was nice was I would just come home and just make a song.
Right.
And just did it. And it just made, like, the fact that art can kind of just take you out of whatever you're doing is the most beautiful experience. Like, it's just nice, you know? I feel like it's a blessing that we get to make art in this world and in this lifetime, just because it's one of those things that you don't have to think. And when you're thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking all the day long, and then you don't have to, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I want to ask you, because now that you said that, I feel like there have been moments in my life where I felt so jittery and I thought that I needed to like exercise, or I thought I needed to like eat a certain way. But like, in actuality, my life felt like I hit the reset button after I made like a single silly thing in Photoshop.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, for a lot of people who feel like they have some sort of like unknown thing that feels off, see if it's a creative thing, like creative output thing, because you might need to do
even
some
if it's not
inventing.
natural. Like, even if it's not natural for you. Like,
Oh yeah, especially if it's not natural for you. Like
Yeah,
if you
like,
feel like go write poetry.
just try it. Dude, yeah, my roommate, he like isn't typically someone who draws or does poetry, and he was like, I'm gonna write some poems, and then I was teaching him how to like just scribble in the notebook app, because that's just do whatever, like not even to have like an idea, just literally let your pen just go anywhere.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is nice, I'm not thinking about anything. And I was like, yeah, bro, exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, exactly, you don't have to think, that's a privilege.
Yeah.
It's like how important meditation is as well, you know?
Yeah. Dude, the reason why poetry is sick because like we only have words to describe ideas and stuff, but you always fill in the blanks no matter who you are. Like the reader fills in the blanks to whatever poem they're reading. I mean, that's how I see it.
Right. That's very true. And it's also just the only form of writing where you can really do whatever you want, you know?
Yeah.
Like you really don't have to think about grammar or even just what letters mean. Like you could literally just shape them all over the place. E.E. Cummings is the classic example of a poet who really changed the way that poetry is written. Yeah, he wrote like classical, just regular poems, like sonnets and stuff, but he also like painted with words. Like he literally would put letters in certain places of the page, and it just made poetry visual. Okay. And that's what I love about poetry, is it has no rule. Like has no rule. You can just do whatever. It's great.
Yeah, actually, the one thing about poetry that there's like a hump that I had to get over is the grammar part, because like a lot of times I'm like,
yeah,
this is such pseudo intellectual bullshit, and then after a while I'm like, I'm glad we don't actually go with the normal grammar shit. Like,
yeah. I mean, well, and that's poetry that has rules, like the ABAB or AABB or like haikus and stuff like that. You don't have to write poetry like that. Like that doesn't. There's no rules. There is no rules.
No rules here, Poetry Town.
Yeah, no rules. No rules in Po Town.
Yeah.
Po boy. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Get a Po boy in Po Town. You know? You know what I'm saying? Have you had a po boy before in Cleveland? Jeez, I cannot talk.
No.
A po boy? Dude, classic. It's the best. You should get one.
I'll have to pencil that in. For a new date. But dude, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about here while we're here?
Shoot, I have no idea. I have nothing. Like,
you have nothing, is what you said?
I'm vibing. Yeah,
You're vibing.
Just we're vibing, you know.
We are vibing. Dude, it was great to talk about, to kick this off with John Mulaney's Coke.
Oh yeah, I thought it was the only right way.
It was the only right way. And when we're dead,
really
and
about.
we're gonna look like eons back, and we're like back in 2021. Like that was literally Doctor Strange going through all the timelines. That was the only way to open this podcast. So
yeah, you're right.
Hell
You're totally right. I'm so glad that I could be your Duncan Trussell, because that's all I wanted. I just wanted to be your Duncan Trussell, you know.
Dude, you fit the bill. I'll tell you that. I feel like
you gotta have one podcast where you really don't talk about anything, but you talk about everything, you know.
This is literally
that, because you just thought about it. You just thought about all the dumb stuff that we just talked about, and well, I mean, some of it wasn't dumb, I guess. Some of it was
none of it was dumb.
It took a serious plot twist where it was like, all right, serious drama.
Such is life.
Comes out of the soap opera to talk about RuneScape.
Yes.
You know, like, but I guess that's why conversations are beautiful.
Yes, exactly. This is the prototype conversations that I love to have. Prototype, archetype, whatever you want to call it. But
so. What are your goals?
My goals?
For like the rest of the podcast, you know, like what are some goals like of things you want to do?
Well, I was just about to tell you, but I was like, I can't tell you, because if I tell you, I'm gonna fuck it up. So
yeah, you gotta keep it if it's like a secret.
No, it's one of those. It's not necessarily a secret, but if I tell you, I will fuck it up. But
Oh, okay, I understand. Like you don't want.
Just from like a personal standpoint, like as soon as I let the
Yeah.
world know, it's like I can't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But let me see if there's something
No,
I
I
can
get it.
share.
You want to revamp? Do you want an intro song? I can make you an intro song.
Really?
I mean, I made the outro, so you might as well just have an intro.
Yeah, shrimp.
So then people can like remember.
Dude, if you want to make me a banger, and then I will put you on easily.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, because
Like-
the outro is a staple now. Like,
Dude, yeah, I love what you did with that. By the way,
The clip
it was
that I
so
took out of it?
interesting because like I sent you that song over, and you were like,
Yeah.
I really like this song, and I was like, oh, okay. He probably is gonna use like the main part, but it was that one like down break, and I was like, wow,
yeah,
that's such a creative way to, like, and it sounds like a perfect outro, little boop, like
Yeah.
that little ending, it really fits, which I was like, damn, this
we
is
both came
hilarious.
together
Like,
on that one. Yeah,
this is great. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was some good pairs. Mario and
yeah.
Luigi shit.
Duncan
Or,
Trussell and Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Duncan Trussell and Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like with Joe Rogan, you're gonna have to get a lot more strong if you want to be Joe Rogan.
I don't want to.
Or at least,
All right, never mind.
or at least you have to do, or at least you have to do a lot more like ketamine.
A lot of what?
A lot more ketamine.
I think I would rather do
Or-
that than get stronger. Yeah.
Yeah. Or that might be just Duncan Trussell because that man is always doing
He's on one.
something different. He's always on. Yeah, he's always
Yeah.
on. I feel like
yeah.
I've started looking at my own screen, and
Mhm.
I feel like for the second time I'm gonna have the darkest podcast when it comes to lighting.
No, it was
'Cause-
doing really well for a long time.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I
now when the sun's getting to where it is.
The dang sun.
Mine's
That
light's getting
dangs.
better now, but it was bright as shit.
Okay.
What was I gonna say? Fuck.
What do you think about the UFOs?
Oh, before I get into UFOs, goals I have for this podcast.
Oh yeah. Give it to me. Give it to me.
I am in the point now, and I'm curious to hear what you want to say about this because this is also, it's weird. Okay, so we came from a town where I feel like if you felt like you were someone, people would quickly reflect to you that you weren't shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
that's just how I felt. And so like for me, putting out videos originally when I was doing weight loss videos, even though I had all the valid insight, all like, everything was there, I still felt like a charlatan making these videos. 'Cause I'm like, I guarantee you some motherfuckers being like, who does he think he is, like, on YouTube? Because like, I mean, everyone has those sort of feelings before, and obviously, I'm sure you, like, we talked about it before about like where those feelings come from, but for me it was more
Yeah.
like, I'm making this podcast and there are so many ideas that I have, and the number one inhibitor to those ideas being put out was like, am I gonna look like some dude who's full of himself if I make a promo video with background music and I make the person look like they are like this sick podcast guest? Because I feel like they are like a sick podcast guest. I want to make them look sick because like I really enjoyed the time that we had. And then there's just like a piece of it because then like I'm sort of like spamming people's feeds, and I don't have like
Yeah.
a traditional like I don't have like a page dedicated. This is on my personal page, so like in a way it's like
Yeah.
I am violating the social contract like a little bit, but it's like,
Yeah.
anyway. But for the podcast goals,
I get that though.
which part?
Just like the whole part of like other people from where we grew up reacting,
Yeah.
because that is probably for so long why I didn't really release music, just because I was like, I don't want people to think I'm ass. I don't want people to
Dude,
think
it's
I'm ass.
so weird because like, yeah,
and it sucks because it's just inhibiting, and that's another thing I for sure feel like I'm getting better at is just release, just do it, just like release it, just like
yeah,
put it together, make it. If it sucks, make a better one. Do something better. If you tried making a podcast, and this honestly, this is probably what happened, is that you have been learning throughout this whole process of
dude,
what to do
going
and
back and
how to
watching
do
our
it.
first video, shit.
Yeah, exactly. So like, it's kind of just goes back to that whole other conversation of you're always gonna look back and you're gonna be worse at something in the past. Like, it's just another simple, just duh. Like, it's the whole not doing versus doing something. Like,
Yeah.
it's the same situation. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
It's cool to finally get to a point where you're like, just do it. So I'm proud of you.
Yeah, like now I'm
proud of
like
you for
no
just
breaks
doing
at
this
all.
shit, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
just do it. Yeah.
And it's interesting because this is the really important thing that I had to discuss with Adam is that like once people know that you're no breaks, then like they sort of start to hop on the train. If that makes any sense. Like,
yeah. The support comes.
Yeah, and
You
it's
have to go
because that
through
has
growing
that.
period.
Yeah, you have to make that decision first. So dude, it's so weird. Goals wise, I want to continue to have people on who are willing to be as open and as authentic as you just were right now. And because like every single person who's been on has been authentic in like a big way. But there is something inherently like opposite of what I want, and that's when I mean I do this all the time, so this is not something that I feel like I'm immune to. Like this is why I feel like I'm so sensitive to it, because I find myself doing it all the time, is that like being authentic, but authentically showing yourself only one side of yourself that you want the world to see. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to avoid that, because what you just said this episode is like you sort of like you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta just, if you're weird, like you gotta be weird. Like just do you, man. Like that's all it's about, is just do yourself. Like just be yourself. Like no one should care.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. No one should care. And if they do, they probably just have something going on. And
Yeah.
what should you do in that situation? Just try and support them. Try and support the people that don't want to support you, because usually that helps. I mean, if they're like a dick and
they're gonna be
mean
a fucking
like, if they're gonna be like really, they're like just a hard person to be around, or just generally actually oppressive, like fuck those people. Nah.
Yeah.
But most people, if they're just like a dick one day, like just ask them what's wrong, and you might get something like fuck off like back.
Yeah.
Like they might just not know how to react to it, because it's like that just jerk reaction, and you know, like that's fine, that's human.
Yeah.
I'm not saying just tolerate like being,
no, I know what you mean. It's like,
you know what I'm saying?
that goes an extremely long way, because also I feel like a lot of people who are pissed feel that sense of like threatened, like that threatened sense, or like they feel like they're getting like dethroned, or like, you know what I mean, like
Mark
subverted.
Zuckerberg. That's all I'll say is Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Just think about him. Think about him really hard.
Okay. Got it.
You
thought about
you got
it.
his face. You got his face in your head.
Mm-hmm. Dude.
Think about how much he was hated for the entire beginning of his career. Like literally, he comes on the scene. He's a Harvard dropout who made literally the most explosive website that ended up turning into an empire. In the beginning, everyone immediately was like, nah, I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was kind of a dick sometimes, but imagine having billions of people hate you. Like
Literally insane.
Literally just throwing such negative energy at him all the time. Like, what do you think's gonna happen? He's gonna just do whatever the fuck he wants, and he's gonna have like really not care about other people, because all he's being fed is negative energy. Not saying Mark Zuckerberg can just do whatever he wants. It's cool that he's a monster. Like, he's kind of a crazy dickhead. Like, kind of a crazy dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, did you hear about that shit he did in Hawaii? Like, absolutely not.
In Hawaii.
Like, yeah, he like kicked off 300 acres worth of just native Hawaiian people's land and like sued them
What?
so that he could have the property.
Oh yeah,
And
in
they didn't
Kauai. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, in Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah. That's
So yeah, he's doing whatever the hell he wants. But also, I mean, just hating this person over and over isn't really going to do something. It's just going to make them hate other people more. And again, it's their responsibility to become a better person. But I'm just saying, throwing negative energy at that type of person all the time is not going to be necessarily the answer.
Yeah. The one thing that I do want to say real quick about, speaking of aliens,
bro, UFOs? Yeah, we should talk about the UFOs.
So, like,
what's going on?
Okay, so there's one part of me that says,
dude, I have to piss so bad.
Then let's both do it, because I need to piss too.
Because I've had to piss, and I need some water. Dude. My head is about to explode.
So, UFOs, the fact that Obama and there's so much disclosure going on across, like, this is for normies too. Like, the disclosure is getting pumped towards normies. It's not just like, oh, this information is suddenly available. It's like, no, this is like for everyone to see. If Obama is saying this stuff, then that means something. And there's people in the military that said that they saw like UFOs like every day off the coast of Virginia for like 2 years and all this other stuff. I'm like, dude, something has to go on. So my thoughts is that it's very weird from a government standpoint what sort of incentives you would have to disclose something. Because the way that I see it, if it was like Chinese technology and then we disclosed to the world that we think we have alien technology, but then China came out and said this is actually ours, that would be the most embarrassing thing, to think that we would be that far behind on Chinese technology that we wouldn't even know that it was human made. That's one thing. I'm like, how would you, there's a huge risk involved in doing that. And then
do you think that's what it is?
I don't know. I'm just saying, because like, if that's okay, I read this book on Skunk Works, which is like Lockheed Martin's advanced development program, and they're the ones who made the U-2 spy plane, the SR-71.
Okay. Gotcha.
And like, when you think about those when you think about those programs, like, literally the only people who knew what they were doing were the engineers at Skunk Works, like the Secretary of Defense and then the acting president. Everyone who was in manufacturing was so compartmentalized that they just understood the complexity of that part that they were building. Like, no one actually knew like what was all going on. So if someone were to see like the SR-71 fly in 1962 when it was his first test flight, and even now when you see it, like, you're like, that's a spaceship. No one besides people who worked at Skunk Works, who swore secrecy, the acting president and the Secretary of Defense, who would know what that project was. So for me, it's like, if people who are in the Navy and they have like this super weird experience with this Tic Tac UFO, and no one is saying anything, and like even like the higher ups in the Navy aren't saying anything, it makes sense that like they wouldn't know shit either. And I think this is also in the thing about Skunk Works, is that like, if there's a new president that comes along during the development of one of these super like secret programs, the new president doesn't need to know about like the existence of those projects. So for all we know, there could just be some like super niche, super secret program that does not have like any current standing, you know, president or Secretary of Defense or, you know, anyone in Congress who knows about these sort of like programs. So for me, I would like to believe, just for like fun's sake, that it is aliens, but part of me also wants to believe that it's like some aquatic ancestor that has been evolving under the ocean.
Hey, what?
Wouldn't that be
what?
sick?
Dude, that is crazy. Yeah, I feel like I mean, the ocean goes so deep. We've only explored what, 30%?
I think it's like less
the
than that.
Statistic.
Yeah.
Less than 30%. So imagine what's down there. That's what I think about. Like,
dude, like, we popped out of the ocean and then we evolved on land. There's been dudes who've been evolving since then underwater, and like, I want to know what that looks like. Yeah. And like for
I didn't even
me,
think about that.
yeah, like because like you think about like you're in like the Marinas Trench or whatever it's called, and you have to like survive extreme pressures. To me, it's like you evolve to withstand extreme pressures. Like we couldn't last 2 seconds unless we were in like a built ass submarine in the trench. And that's why like you don't see any deep sea fish like anywhere. Like I know this happened like a few days ago where like some fish that swims like at like 3,000 meters deep floated ashore at like Miami or something. But that should like never happen because like these deep sea fish they can't withstand normal pressures that we, you know what I mean? So it's like there really is like a whole nother world in our world. And I feel like if you were going to evolve to withstand pressures like that, you must be up to some like wizardry. I mean, obviously it's relative to us. Like we think that's high pressures, but like,
Right.
so for them to move like that, like I think it would be sick for it to be like some aquatic animal and like that just evolved to withstand like, you know, whatever. But aliens also make sense. And then
They get energy off of the Earth's core.
dude, or some inner Earth people. Dude, I don't know. But do you have any theories?
No, I think this is the first time I've ever even thought of that, and that's
Oh, shit.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
an explosion of thought. To think, I mean, if we evolved above the water, why wouldn't they evolve below the water?
Right.
You know, there could be a whole different. There could be more than Atlantis. There could be like Chicago
Yeah, dude.
down
Fish
there.
Chicago. Yeah.
Just a fish Chicago. I can't think of anything
Dude, they don't.
else.
They probably developed Marlboro lungs down there.
Oh yeah, they got gills for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
they got OG gills.
Yeah.
They have like
Gills
gills,
for days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel that. Yeah, I feel that.
What was the one thing I was gonna say? Oh shit. Yeah. Fish can't access to open fire is not a thing in the water, so they would just have to. That's the sick thing, because like if they figured out, or if they can evolve past not being able to have an open flame and you can't do metallurgy or anything underwater, I wonder what it looks like. Because if you would imagine, they spent more time technically in environments where they can be optimized their evolution or whatever. So like dolphins are like smart as shit, but they don't have opposable thumbs and they don't have open flames and all that. So
yeah, they just have crazy voices
yeah, dude, and fucking sonar.
and sonar.
Yeah.
Yeah, like bats. They're like little bat boys.
Yeah.
Little bat boys underwater. You know.
Or it could be, if the conspiracies are true, that the Nazis really did escape to Antarctica and they're making UFOs out of Antarctica.
That is also possible.
All the theories are really exciting. I don't think there's like a certain mundane or boring theory that I would be like, I'm pissed that was the real one. You know what I mean? I feel like
I mean, yeah, they're all interesting at least. Each one that's got something going on. I don't know another theory though.
Do you believe that aliens exist though?
For sure. It'd be weird if they didn't. That'd be kind of.
Wait, I didn't hear you because your mic fucked up.
Universe. Oh yeah, you're good. What'd you hear last?
You said for sure. It would be weird that they didn't.
Okay, yeah. I was saying it'd be weird if they didn't, and it'd be kind of sad if they didn't. You know, it'd just be like we're alone in the universe. That would be lame.
Yeah.
And when there are interesting creatures out there, like, come on, that's lame.
Yeah. It's kind of weird though, because like the fish that evolved in like the bottom of the seafloor are basically, I mean, they are like
aliens.
First of all, they are aliens, but also like they're one of us. Like they are Earth creatures. So like we're all one in the same family, which is like really weird to think of. So when you think about aliens or like different solar system, different galaxy, but it's like there are things that don't even look like us at all.
No, yeah. and it's
On a
on
planet.
Earth.
Yeah.
I saw this one video, and it was of this like primate type creature that I had never seen before, and the caption was "Earth new DLC pack out," and I was like, "Oh my god, I really have never seen this creature though." I was
That's
like,
funny.
"What the hell? Like that is crazy." So yeah, there's new creatures all the time that are just gonna pop up and that have, I don't know, maybe are here on land that we have no idea that
Yeah.
exist. So
Okay,
can't
here's
imagine
a.
what's going on down there.
Sorry, keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna say I can't imagine what's going on
Oh,
down
yeah.
there. You know, some wild things.
Have you given much thought, or do you care about like what the Earth was like for human beings like 20,000 years ago? Like, do you believe that there was like technology on this level?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I Seems like life was easier.
You know, life was easier.
Yeah, I mean, it's more simple in the sense of less like wasteful, less structured. More,
Interesting.
I don't know. You're saying 2,000 years ago?
20,000.
20? Yeah, like 20,000 years ago? Yeah, like it's like people are just doing things to exist at that point. Still kind of, right? Or
Yeah, because I guess like
is there,
agriculture didn't really exist 20,000 years ago, as far as we know.
yeah, exactly. So it really wasn't as civilized. So I feel like it was more animal.
Do
It
you
was
think?
more,
Sorry.
we were more part of the. I was just saying we were more part of the animal kingdom,
I see.
just as another species. You know, maybe like the best still.
Do you
But
think that there was
I don't know.
any? Do you think any of the mysticism around the pyramids is valid, or do you think they just built it and we just don't know how to do it?
Jeez. Damn. I don't know. I know it was built by fucking Jews and slaves.
They're saying that it was built by private contractors now.
That's what I heard. I was also like, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy. How did
I
you
don't.
get so many contractors?
Yeah, it's hella contractors.
That
dude.
sounds sus. I feel like it's kind of sus. You know,
They
it's
probably
like,
just called
no,
them
they
private
signed up for
contractors.
it. They
Yeah.
got paid. They're like slaves.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
They
But
were
dude,
paid for that. They had PTO. They had
Oh, yeah.
PTO building the pyramids. 2 weeks standard. Come on, bro. It was fine back then.
yeah.
They got paid in water and food.
What more could you want? And they understood all
Yeah,
the benefits to their health insurance.
Yeah, and they were like, let's all just wear the same thing, so we might as well just shackle ourselves together and build this together.
Exactly. It was really efficient.
They
when you
weren't
think about it.
slaves. It was just they were free.
Yeah. Exactly.
I get that. That's
Dude, but
weird.
dude, when you look at like the inside of the pyramid, like none like there's rumors that it's supposed to be like a tomb, like a sarcophagus. There's like one, I think there's one in the Great Pyramid of Giza. But all of the entryways are like 1.5 meters tall. Like it's like anyone who is above, I don't know the conversion to feet, but like none of it looked like it was supposed to be. I don't know. Like there's stories of like Alexander the Great and like Napoleon spending nights in the King's Chamber and having like visions and shit overnight.
Damn.
Yeah, because I guess like it's built. I don't know if you know of like any like the architecture. I don't know anything about the architecture there, but like there's like very high resonance. So if you were to make a noise, that shit like echoes, and like I guess the way it's built like supports like certain frequencies to be like amplified. I don't know what the deal is, but I guess when you stay alone,
that's some trippy shit.
yeah. So when you stay alone in the
That's
King's
crazy.
Chamber in this big ass pyramid, and you climb all the way up there, and you sleep in this room, like the King's Chamber is only like 10 by 8, I'm pretty sure, and you sleep in this stone room, and it's pitch black because there are no like, there's no light like lighting. Especially back in the day, unless you brought like a torch.
They
There's
got
no
no Philips
lighting.
Hues, no Philips Hues,
Yeah.
few colored lights.
And you're sleeping there, and like after like 30 minutes, you'd probably go insane just from like the sound of your heartbeat because you can't hear shit,
Yeah,
and you're just like. So I would imagine it was like an 8-hour sensory deprivation tank minus like you feeling like the stone. So I can definitely see how people would have like trippy experiences in
yeah.
that alone. But just
Seeing it.
the mystique behind it is just insane. Like how that area was like actually had water back in the day. Like it was like a port city. I don't know if it was a port city, but like there was water and like yeah. Dude, Antiquity is pretty fucking wild. The fact that
Yeah,
we
that sounds
barely know anything
crazy.
about it is like
That sounds insane, honestly.
yeah.
That's some like Nietzsche shit. Just going insane from being alone all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Cause
that
that's so
sounds
spooky.
terrible. Yeah, but also, no, yeah, there's no good way. I thought about it for like 2 seconds. I was like, nah. Imagine if you had to be naked. Like,
Oh, it'd be worse.
they put you in there and you're just naked all over that cold tile everywhere. Or not
Easy
tile, like
sweep.
it's
Fastest
just
way to
rocks.
tweak out. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know what would bug me the most is all the crumbs on the ground.
All the
Just
crumbs.
the rocks, like the rock crumbs. I feel like
Yeah.
you'd never be able to be in peace. They're like
Oh fuck
sitting
no.
here for 8 hours. Nothing.
All the rock
You get
crumb.
nothing. Only crumbs.
Is there a certain point in history that you feel like connected to in antiquity? Like ancient Rome or like
That's a really good question.
yeah. Because I feel connected to ancient Egypt.
Maybe ancient Greece, I guess. Like I always loved Greek mythology. That was definitely my shit. Like
Okay.
for sure.
Hmm.
Or maybe like ancient Russia, Ukraine, because I'm Ukrainian. So I think it's like cool the history
I know
behind
nothing about
where
history of that of Russian and Ukraine.
oh, not even their history in general, but just like their mythologies and uh, just like the society because I'm I guess a part of it, not really. That's another thing
Yeah.
that's weird is like in America it's really common to be proud of your heritage, but when you actually talk to people that your heritage is from, they're like, nah, fuck you. They're like, you're from America.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm third generation. Yes. Like, I was not first gen. You're right. But
Yeah. Not a
my
real one.
my great grandparents still did just come over from Ukraine though. Like my grandma spoke fluent Ukrainian. Like,
It is insane how that's how quickly you can lose like your identity from.
well, they did it on purpose.
Oh, okay. Wait, what do you mean?
Like, they wanted that era, like 40s, 50s, having kids in the 60s. They made their kids more American because they didn't want they wanted them to be American and to just fully assimilate. They didn't want to be different because discrimination. And
I
that
see.
if we like, once you make your family more like everybody else in the country, you don't get discriminated against. They just treat you like you're the same.
I see.
So it's almost like a cure, but also like removing culture, like
Okay.
destroying your own personal culture so that you can be a part of society easy, which like that just sounds terrible,
Right.
but that's how it is.
Yeah, that
How
was
it
the way she
is.
goes. Hmm.
Yeah, like they didn't teach my mom Ukrainian because they wanted to be able to talk in Ukrainian around my mom
That's
without her
wild.
knowing. Like that's what all of those parents did is because they just wanted to be able to talk in front of their kids
Wow.
without them knowing. Which sucks though, because I could have been fluent in Ukrainian at this point.
That would have been sick.
And I would have had like another language to talk to like my brother in or something.
Hmm.
Which would be cool.
Um.
But also,
Sorry, go.
no, I was just saying it's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
do you? I don't know what direction I want to go with this per se. Do you believe that? Do you believe in past lives?
Dude, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Do you
I
believe
feel
that you had to
like,
be an Ukrainian in a past life, or do you think that you can be anyone?
oh, no. I mean, I think you can just be anybody. Like,
Hmm.
I think that that's what makes it so much easier to be nice to other people. And not even in a selfish way, but just, I think it's when you look at it as we're all one moving force, like the universe is all one thing, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
all people, which means like all people are one thing as well. So we all share like a similar existence. So just be kind to that other person because that could also be you, you know.
Yeah.
Just
Like
look at it as
yeah.
that. Like
It is
that's
you.
literally you. It is you. Like I'm you and you are me, not to get too 60s on
Alan
make this
Watts.
some 60s shit.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, dude. Are you into Alan Watts?
Fucking mainline Alan Watts videos, dude.
Oh yeah, I snort that shit all the time. Yeah. That if I were to snort something, it for sure would be Alan Watts. Cause
Yeah.
that man, bro, like the way that he talks about life is amazing. And I really do just resonate with so much that he has to say. And it was so cool because he brought Eastern religion to Western culture.
Yep.
Like he was really one of the pioneers to bring Buddhism and Taoism all over.
Yeah.
And that's sick. Like he's dope. He's fucking sweet.
Yeah. What was something that I was watching about? Like the most recent one that I like is it sort of helped me understand what I was feeling because I didn't like because there's a lot of people. There aren't that many people that I know of currently. I don't really ask around, but like I have been meditating since like the fall of 2018, and I'm starting to get to
Nice.
points where like I am like feeling certain things and thinking certain things. I'm like, I don't know where to go next. Like it's one of those things where like I hit the wall and I'm like, I don't know. Like that's when I like learned like I think the meaning of life is self acceptance, and I think that what was the other thing that I was just like I hit like a really hard roadblock with. Like I didn't really understand. Like I understand it was okay. So it was a conversation we had earlier about like you can't really get rid of vices. It's about living with them, and it's about like accepting them. It's not about condemning or pushing them away. It's about like living with them. And it's funny because like you hear that sort of like sentiment when you talk about like I don't know like living your best life or whatever. It's like don't condemn or don't give in to your like, your impulses, but like just sit with them. But like it took me to like meditate for 2.5 years to actually understand that and like a personal. I don't know, dude. It's just meditation is just wild. But anyway, so like Alan Watts is that there was an episode that he did on yin and yang, and
Yeah.
or a lecture. Sorry, he did a lecture on
Mhm.
yin and yang, and my biggest like rut that I got into was trying to make everything as much as a W as I could make it. And it wasn't in the sense that like I'm gonna make the best of it. It was like I had to get the best outcome, or it was a failure. And it wasn't a failure in like the failure sense, like this wasn't the best outcome, but we're gonna go and learn. It was like it was just weird. It was like complete logic overdrive. There was no emotion. There was no like humanity in everything that I was doing. It was just like there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to win this game, or there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to eat at a calorie deficit today, even though I've been eating at a calorie deficit.
Right.
So you can get in those loops where
Right.
it's like, just because you can do it doesn't mean, like logically you can do it, doesn't mean they actually can't do it. So there's something about like taking the negatives, and because if you try to like go all out like that, like it's always going to lead to burnout, and it's always going to lead to some like homeostasis shift where you go like your body tries to overcorrect and like you binge eat or like you like
Yeah.
do a fuckload of heroin. You know what I mean? Like it's just like I don't know.
Typical Tuesday.
Yeah. So I don't know like if you have any like Alan Watts like takeaways, but he always seems to like say
Oh.
the right shit whenever I hit the right video. You know what I mean? Like
No, yeah. I the big thing with him that I love is just just remembering to live, and that it's not about where you end up and what you do. Jeez, my voice has been cracking all day.
Damn.
Oh,
Sounds like an NW2 lobby in here.
oh. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's not about like planning everything out and thinking you need to know what's going to happen in 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, but it's more about living, because it's like what he says is it's when you play a song most of the time, when you're just making a song, it's not like you're figuring out what's going to write me next, and it's not like making the quickest song is the best, because
Right.
that's if if it were about getting something done quickly and fast, every song would just be a finale.
Right.
Like it would just all be like ta-da, and that'd be
Yeah.
it. People will go to shows and be like, "Wow, that was great." It'd be like 2 seconds long. And he made another comparison with dancing. It's not like when you dance, you're just looking where your feet's going. Like
Right.
you're dancing, and that's what life is about: is dancing. Is remembering that it's a dance, not like it's not this big plan that you have figured out, because you won't have it figured out. And if you keep just living your life trying to figure it out, you're just gonna die and then be like, wait, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Why did I? Yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting too because like there is a dilemma of like living spontaneously after knowing that
yeah,
you should live spontaneously. And, like to this
yeah,
day, I don't know how to like handle that. So
yeah. I mean, I just say do what you're comfortable with, but then if there's something that you're like, I want to try that, or I don't know, should I do that? Just try it, you know.
mhm.
Like, as long as it's safe and not gonna kill you, like, just do it. If you're interested and it's something you want to just give a try, like, just give it a try, because you won't know until you do it. I know it's kind of cliche, but like, it's just true. Like, you could think your whole life that you want to be a sculptor, and you only get to sculpt in your free time, and then you finally get the chance to make pottery all day for other people, and then you're like, wait, this fucking sucks. I just want to do this for myself.
Right.
I don't want to do this for a job. So, but you wouldn't know that unless you did it,
Right.
you know? So once you do, you're like, okay, that's just a hobby. Let me try something else out.
Mm-hmm.
And you end up becoming a banana farmer. And that's your thing.
Ethan, I know you talked about your album, but is there any other plugs
Yeah, what's up?
that you want to plug out before we dip? And
Before we dip out. Yeah,
before we
dip
dip out.
I feel like if I promote anything, then I'm just not going to do it. So I probably won't say anything. But
Okay.
I think I'm going to make some stuff soon. Some more stuff. But I don't know
Small
when.
voice
I
crack.
don't know when.
Got him.
Yeah, more voice cracks. I think I'm going to release more stuff soon. No voice crack.
Nice.
But yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what. Actually, I do know what, but I'm just not going to say it because
In
I
good
gotta
faith.
keep it mysterious. I'm making more stuff. That's all that
Yeah.
matters.
Your SoundCloud is already in the bio, so do you have any social
Oh,
media
yeah.
accounts?
Oh, I mean, if you want to listen to my music, I go by Stanley Mack, and that's my artist name. You can
Okay.
find it on Spotify, Apple Music, other places. I think it's on TikTok now.
Have you retired, Brother
But yeah,
Remus?
no, that I still produce stuff under that name. I just that's more like instrumental. I
Okay.
do Brother Remus for just like instrumental stuff.
Okay.
Brother Remus, what a concept! I still, it's such a good concept. I love that.
Yeah.
Garlic wizard. He's a garlic wizard. That's the concept of Brother Remus.
Fuck yeah.
So one
Okay.
day, maybe I'll write a book or a short story, but also because I said that, I'm not going to do it.
Right. Fuck. Well,
Another one thrown
okay.
into the trash. But yeah, thanks for having me, dude. I
Fuck
appreciate
yeah. Dude, it was a
having
movie.
some time to talk and be weird with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. If you made it this far, Thanks for watching. Peace.